I'll say it again, sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. And I'm going to work very hard with Secretary Noem to keep President Trump's promise and his commitment several weeks ago that sanctuary cities are now our priority. We're going to flood the zone. You don't want to let us into jail to arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of a jail. You want to release him into the street, which makes it unsafe for the community, makes it unsafe for the officer, makes it unsafe for the alien. Anything can happen on a street arrest. So what we're going to do, we'll have more agents in New York City to look for that bad guy. So sanctuary cities get exactly what they don't want, more agents in the community and more agents in the work site. If we can't arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of a county jail, then we'll arrest him in the community, and we'll arrest him in the jail. And when we arrest him in the community, if he's with others that are in the country illegally, they're
So this new information is continuing to come in now about the 2 illegal immigrants accused of shooting an off-duty Border Patrol agent in New York City. That agent hospitalized, recovering after he was shot in the arm and shot in the face during that attempted armed robbery in Manhattan's Riverside Park on Saturday night. Now we're
we hate to have to report on things like this, but we want to send our prayers, a speedy recovery for the officer, and send our prayers and love to our law enforcement, to the ones who make the ultimate sacrifice, to our ICE agents, to our first responders. But President Trump just made an announcement, and he says, last night in New York City, an incredible CBP officer was shot in the face by an illegal alien monster, freed into our country under Joe Biden. He was apprehended at the border in April 2023, but instead of being deported, was released. The CBP officer bravely fought off his attacker despite his wounds, demonstrating enormous skill and courage. The Democrats have flooded our nation with criminal invaders, and now they must all be thrown out, or in some cases, immediately prosecuted, and that we cannot take a chance that they are able to come back. That's how evil and dangerous they are.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. When you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, what's going on, family? I hope everybody that's tuned in right now that you are blessed, well, and healthy, that you're having a great start to the week. Happy Monday, that you guys are in good spirits. But we have to continue and bring a huge update on what we was talking about last night on the show of what took place in New York City. An agent got shot in the face. I mean, this is getting out of hand, man. This is crazy. I know we're seeing the anti-ICE protests, these riots. Democrats call them peaceful. It's ridiculous, man. The people spoke loud and clear. Loud and clear. Y'all out there wasting time. Get a job. If you did things the right way, you don't got nothing to worry about. I'm just saying. You don't got nothing if you did things the right way. This is crazy, man. The people spoke loud and clear. Y'all out there waving, burning the American flag and waving your flag. Then take your butt back then. But this is crazy, man. But these illegals still making their mark, And I'm glad that the officer is recovering. He was not pronounced deceased, so he's recovering. So that's good news. But this is getting crazy. But Tom Homan, President Trump is pissed off, outraged right now of what is taking place. But I also seen this too, this is my first time seeing it. I know it happened a couple days ago, but Tom Homan demolishes a heckler, interrupting his speech. So I want to check this out, and then we'll get into the huge update. But I hope you guys, man, again, are doing well in these times. We're living in some crazy dark times, man. Know how to protect yourself, defend yourself. Be aware of your surroundings. Be careful out there, man. People have lost their mind, and people think that the world's ending. You know, that the dictating started. That the man is the boogeyman, the big bad orange man. You know, people really think the world's ending, you know, because President Trump is the 47th president, you know. Majority of America voted for this. The people spoke loud and clear. No hesitation. People that don't even get involved got involved. And this was on top of their list. Immigration. This was on top of their list. Mass deportations on the top of their list. Let's check this out, though.
We left thousands of empty ICE beds at $127 a night, empty. Thousands of them. They released them to NGOs at $500 a night. Why did they do that? Because they knew if they're in ICE detention, they get a hearing within 40 days, 90% lose their case, they get sent home. That is not what they wanted. They're playing the long game. Let's release them in the community. Wait 3 or 5 years. Pardon me?
Are you an MS-13 member?
Hey.
Did he just tell Tom Homan is he a MS-13 member? You people are you people need help, man. Some of these people really do need help, man.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay. I got a question. No. I got a question for you. Why don't you come up here and hand me that picture? Bring it. Bring it. USA. USA.
Woo! It feels good to be back, baby.
All right. You got morons like this all over the country. This guy wouldn't like the surface nation. This guy ain't got the balls to be an ICE officer. He hasn't got the balls to be a Border Patrol agent. This guy lives in his mother's basement. The only thing that surprises me, you don't have purple hair and a nose ring. Get out of here, you loser. And you're such a badass. Meet me off stage in 13 minutes and 50 seconds. I guarantee you, he sits down to pee.
I bet you he sit down and say, yeah, he go into the restroom, little public bathroom, and go and sit down and tinkle. Yeah, that's what they do. Hey, Tom Homan got some nuts, boy. Them nuts hanging low to the ground. Yee! I'm for that right there. That got me hyped. Y'all, this was my first time checking out this clip. I know this, y'all probably seen this. It happened days ago. I think like 8 days ago, almost a week ago, this happened. I'm late. But this guy has a picture of Tom Homan as like a bad guy. He has a picture. Like a picture, I think of MS-13 on his knuckles, and of Tom Homan, and he has a Trump hat on, and he says his shirt says I identify as Ultra MAGA. I guess he wore that to get into the event. You know how these hecklers do it. I tell you, man, it's crazy, man. I want to check this out too.
Off 20 U.S. citizen employees. That happens across this country every day. No one hires an illegal alien, I truly believe, out of the goodness of their heart. They hire them because they work them harder, pay them less, and undercut their competition.
Yep.
So this is about American business. This is about making sure U.S. citizens stay employed. This is about keeping wages at a certain level, not decreasing wages. It's the right thing to do. And there is a way, as Chad said, to bring people in legally. Congress needs to address that. He laid off.
I see Saratoga got all these promotions and sponsorships going on. I thought like when that one guy that was Ashton Hall or whatever his name is, after they did those videos of him putting his face in the water and using the Saratoga, the sparkling water. I thought that was like an $8 bottle of water or something, or some Fiji stuff. I go inside the dollar store up the street, the dollar store like 5 minutes from my house. and I see it in the dollar store for $2, $1. I said, oh man, I'm thinking it's like a $8 bottle of water, a sparkling water. This is it costs $2 at the dollar store. I said, well, why don't you look at this? Anyways, but this is crazy. And y'all, remember we showed y'all last night of what went on in New York. Let me see if I can find it. But here it is right here. Here they are right here. These criminal illegal aliens. You just can't make it up, you know, of what took place with the shooting. And then we'll play the clip. But Tom, they're so pissed off that it's going more down. But this right here, so this is what we had reported on last night, and this was in front of the hospital.
And the walked into the 44th precinct with multiple gunshot wounds to his chest. He was
yeah. So here it is right here. Let's jump in.
There was a broken border policy. Now that we have an individual that came into the country illegally, was released on his own recognizance, and then just went on a crime spree.
So now the consequences of an open border reverberating yet again. A previously deported illegal immigrant accused of shooting an off-duty CBP officer in the face. It happened Saturday night around midnight in New York City, and Kristi Noem, DHS Secretary, set to give an update a few minutes from now, and that will be our lead story on a Monday. Hope you enjoyed the weekend. Dana's got the week off. I'm Bill Hemmer, live here in New York City, and Jillian, take the train or the plane?
Always train.
Always train.
Flights are not reliable, Bill.
I got you. Good morning.
Never fly from D.C. to New York. Great to be with you. Secretary Noem left the hospital a moment ago after visiting that officer. He was off duty at the time. Video shows the suspect and another man approaching him on a scooter. The suspect then tries to what looks like rob him at gunpoint. The agent pulls out his own gun. They both exchange fire. That agent managing to wound the suspect. His accomplice, though, still at large. So
the suspect in custody is from the Dominican Republic, previously deported, but re-entered the U.S. under President Biden in 2023. We have
look at their rap sheets. Look at the people that's. I tell you, these are the scums walking around in our communities. Look at they always have a rap sheet.
Heard that before. He's wanted in Massachusetts.
And these are Democrat heroes. These are their heroes who they care so much for. I know some people hate to hear that, but that's just the truth. These are the ones they care so much for. They go sit down and have margaritas with them, pat them on the head, rub their back, give them back massages, invite them in the house, let them stay in the basement, in the backyard, in the guest room. The one judge, she in there making them bread and soup and all kind of stuff, making them pie. She in there having an affair with one of the illegals. And she got him outside doing the yard work. Yeah, we caught you. We know what's going on.
Massachusetts on kidnapping and weapons charges as of today.
So CBP Senior Advisor Ron Vitello is here, but first let's go to CB Cotton. She's in New York City. Hi, CB.
Hi, Jillian. This case has the attention of the White House. As you said, this morning, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem visited the off-duty CBP agent who is now recovering in the hospital. And in a matter of moments, we expect her to give an update here. Investigators say right now they don't believe the off-duty agent was targeted for his job. But White House leaders are sounding off about the suspect who was here in the country illegally with a lengthy rap sheet. DHS tells us that Miguel Francisco Mora Nunez is a Dominican national. Investigators say his crimes include grand larceny in 2023, assault and criminal contempt in 2024, and armed robbery in 2025. Officers say late Saturday night, the off-duty agent fought back after realizing Nunez was trying to rob him in the city's Fort Washington Park. Surveillance video appears to show the suspect and another man roll up on a moped. One of them approaches the victim, who is sitting with a woman near the water. There's a scuffle, and right after, that's when it looks like the gunfire takes place. The off-duty agent was shot in the face and arm and is now communicating with hand gestures. City leaders say the case reeks of the country's once broken border.
The point that we're making here is this should never have occurred.
Never.
We need thoughtful change to our sanctuary city laws in this city that protects our New Yorkers. This person here, Miguel Mora, is the poster child for what is wrong with sanctuary city status in New York City.
And this morning, investigators say the search for the second suspect continues. Back to you.
All right, Stevie Cotton in New York for us this morning. Thank you.
Want to bring in a senior advisor for the Customs and Border Patrol, Ron Vitiello. Ron, welcome back and good morning to you. Let me read a true social over the weekend, then I'll let you tell us what we need to understand about this awful incident on Saturday night. So the Democrats have flooded our nation with criminal invaders, and now they must all be thrown out, or in some cases immediately prosecuted, and that we cannot take a chance that they are able to come back. That's how evil and dangerous they are. Ron, what happened in this case?
Well, obviously, this off-duty Customs and Border Protection officer, we're praying for his speedy and uncomplicated recovery. We're glad that the Secretary and other leadership got to visit with him today. But this is an example of the destructive policy of sanctuary cities and a lawless, chaotic border that we suffered with under the Biden administration. What's important about this now is that if he was apprehended before these heinous crimes and sent back, it's very hard to cross the border today. If you do cross the border, you will likely be apprehended. You will mostly be prosecuted, and you will be removed very quickly from the United States.
Ron,
That's
the problem here
the policy of President Trump.
He was in custody and he was released into the United States yet again. I mean, how many times are we going to report on a story like this?
It is unfortunate. This is, you know, he has a criminal record in Massachusetts, so he was in custody and in some jurisdiction there. Massachusetts is a sanctuary state. New York also had charges against him, so he was likely released from a jurisdiction in or near the city. And this is what happens when you have a lawless, chaotic border in the previous administration and then these destructive policies that prey upon people that live in these cities and towns and allow criminals to be sanctuaried, even though they're in the country illegally. This is the most preventable crime in the United States that occurs. Somebody that should not be here, that's committing crimes against the citizens and the communities in which they live.
Ron, the numbers don't lie. Joe Biden caught and released under his term 1.8 million. Donald Trump, so far, 6 months into a second term, 7. That is remarkable. Over the weekend, we learned a little bit more about this raid on a Home Depot in Sacramento, Northern California. 11 were taken into custody. And now we learned that 5 of the immigrants arrested had prior criminal histories. What should we know about this now, Ron?
Well, this is another example of what the danger and the risks that we all face with having an uncontrolled border and people in the United States that have not been invited here. They were not inspected at the border. They were not vetted when they were released at the border. And they're all amongst us. And so this is an example of the criminal activity that takes place in these groups. And so it puts to rest the nobility of people. Everybody that comes across the border is looking for a better life. Some of them are criminals. Some of them are very dangerous, and they have to be found and removed from the United States as quickly as possible. Right. That's what's underway now, so I'm proud of the stops that those agents made, and those threats do not exist in the Sacramento area anymore.
Ron, last question here. We're waiting on this briefing. It's going to happen in about 30 minutes. Kristi Noem's there, Tom Homan. What do you expect they'll tell us?
Well, I think they're going to reiterate that we want this the officer to recover, and then point out the example of the dangers that we're all in because of these sanctuary policies and a chaotic border, which doesn't exist. The nonsense at the border is over, so we should all take heart in that. But now's an opportunity for us to expose the lie that coming across the border illegally and being released in the United States, it's just terrible policy. And you marry that with sanctuary cities, and then it's just a problem for all of us that live here.
1.8 million versus 7. Ron, thanks for coming on. We're waiting that briefing, and we'll bring it to our viewers live when it begins. Thank you.